You ever walk into a place that feels wrong before anyone even says a word? Like something in the air, thick, heavy, like silence trying to warn you. Not loud, not violent, just off. That was Pine Ridge, one of those desert towns that doesn't scream corruption with flashing lights. It just rots quietly, like the floorboard under a rug, pretending it's still strong until someone steps too hard. And yeah, that someone was Naomi Brice. Now, Naomi wasn't just passing through because she was bored. She was on a road trip, sure, taking a few days to breathe before stepping into the biggest role of her life, newly appointed Assistant U.S. Attorney for the Western District. But at that moment, she was just tired. GPS rerouted her off the highway after a truck jackknifed, and Pine Ridge happened to be on the way. The sign at the county line said, "Welcome to Pine Ridge, God's country, our rules." Charming, right? But Naomi, smart, calm, no nonsense, felt that twitch in her neck, the kind that doesn't go away no matter how many times you shift your shoulders. She pulled into this crusty diner off the side of the road, one of those places where the neon sign's been half buzzing since the 70s, and the only thing hotter than the coffee is the suspicion dripping off the regulars. 3 men in matching camo jackets stared her down the moment she stepped in. Not curious, just cold, like they'd seen someone like her before, and decided she didn't belong. Naomi kept it cool, sat down, ordered a slice of peach pie and some water, tried to keep to herself. But see, it didn't matter what she said or did. In Pine Ridge, being black, confident, and unafraid was already enough to make her a threat. 10 minutes later, a deputy rolled in, called her combative for not smiling fast enough, and next thing she knew, she was in handcuffs. No questions, no reading of rights, no ID check, just a shove into the back of a cruiser, dust kicking up in the rear view like smoke from a fire that hadn't even started yet. But here's what they didn't know. Naomi wasn't just anybody. She had a badge, a real one, federal, tucked in her glove compartment with a DOJ seal on the case. But they never got that far. They didn't check, didn't care. And that was their first mistake. They tossed her in a holding cell that smelled like bleach and broken promises, slapped on some made-up charge about disturbing the peace, and left her there. No phone call, no lawyer, no hearing on the books, nothing. She sat on that cold metal cot all night, whispering the Fourth Amendment to herself like a prayer, not for comfort, but just to stay sharp. Because she knew this wasn't a mistake. This was a machine, and she'd just gotten caught in its gears. By morning, she was hauled into a courtroom that looked more like a community bingo hall than a hall of justice. The judge, Quentin Maddox, didn't even blink when she said she wanted a lawyer. "This isn't that kind of hearing," he told her, then banged the gavel like he was swatting a fly. 24 more hours of holding, just to decide if they wanted to file real charges. Naomi sat back, took a breath, then said it. Clear, strong, no tremble. "I'm a federal prosecutor." The room didn't gasp. Nobody dropped their coffee mug. Because in Pine Ridge, that didn't matter. Maddox didn't care. He knew. Probably knew the moment she stepped into that diner. That's why they moved fast. That's why her paperwork disappeared from the system before the ink could dry. This wasn't about law. It was about keeping her quiet. And someone was trying damn hard to make sure she stayed buried. But they forgot one thing. You don't bury someone like Naomi Brice. You plant her. Later that afternoon, a scared-looking clerk slipped her a phone through the slot in her cell door, hands shaking, voice barely above a whisper. "They're blocking everything," he said. "Your intake files, your badge ID, gone. But someone needs to know." And Naomi did what she does best. She called backup. Not the police, not the mayor. She called Sam, her former partner from the DOJ's internal affairs team. A pit bull in sneakers with a memory like steel and a laptop that could fry half a state's secrets if it needed to. "I'm in Amarillo," Sam said, "but I'll be in Pine Ridge by sundown. Don't let them bury you." Naomi didn't get the chance to wait. That night, 2 men in plain clothes dragged her out the back of the jail, tossed her into a van with stained floors and no license plate, and told her she talked too much. One of them called her a government bitch. The other broke her lip open with a punch that landed like a judge's gavel. But Naomi, she fought back. Twisted, kicked, bit. got a foot loose and caught one in the ribs hard enough to knock the wind out of him. Then she ran, bleeding, bruised, barefoot. She stumbled into a gas station 10 miles out of town, face busted, arms trembling, and still managed to say, "I don't want trouble, just need the payphone." You ever seen courage that raw, that furious? The kid behind the counter, barely 18, eyes wide, just nodded and pointed. She made the call. Sam picked her up 20 minutes later in a dented rental with a trunk full of files and a face like she was ready to burn the county down. And burn it they did. In a rundown motel room with peeling wallpaper and a broken AC, they opened every file, every land deed, every altered police report they could find. Turns out Pine Ridge had been stealing land under fake eminent domain claims, selling it off to shell companies run by Judge Maddox and Sheriff Colton Crane. Dozens of families gone. No questions asked. They went live. Laptop open. Stream running. Naomi staring dead into the camera. Blood still on her shirt. "My name is Naomi Brice. I am a federal prosecutor. And what happened to me wasn't a mistake. It was a system doing exactly what it was built to do." The internet exploded. Hashtags, outrage. Local reporters showed up. National networks circled. The DOJ got pinged. So did the marshal's office. And yeah, someone noticed. Just not the kind of someone Naomi wanted. 10 minutes into the live stream, the motel window exploded. Not metaphorically, literally. Firebomb through the glass. Sam tackled Naomi just in time. Both of them hit the floor as flames licked the curtains like a warning. They escaped out the back, Naomi limping, Sam dragging a hard drive in one hand and a crowbar in the other. They didn't stop. They found the old courthouse records room, hidden behind a foundation wall no one had touched in years. Used a rusted key from a 20-year-old city planning file Sam had found in a trash archive. Inside, boxes of deeds, files with erased names, a full trail from Maddox and Crane to a dozen more counties across the state. They uploaded everything. By dawn, federal agents were knocking at Naomi's motel room. Agent Keller from the marshal's office said 5 words that nearly brought Naomi to her knees. "We believe you. Warrants coming." Within hours, Maddox was pulled from his bench mid-hearing. Sheriff Crane was found trying to destroy his laptop in the back of a cruiser. Half the Pine Ridge courthouse was cordoned off under federal investigation. And Naomi? She didn't celebrate. She sat quietly, on a motel balcony, watching the sun rise over a town that had tried to swallow her whole. "It doesn't feel like winning," she told Sam. Sam just looked at her, tired but proud. "No, it feels like justice, remembering how to stand up." Before they left, Naomi got one more text. "Federal indictment approved. Crane and Maddox facing multiple life sentences. Task force forming for expansion." She smiled, but it wasn't soft. It was the kind of smile you earn, in courtrooms, in cells, in back alleys where truth is still duct-taped to silence. And she didn't go back to D.C., not yet. There were other towns, other Pine Ridges hiding behind polite greetings and church barbecues, other judges in robes hiding blood on their hands, and Naomi Brice. She wasn't done. Not by a long shot. So now let me ask you, what would you have done in Naomi's shoes? Was she right to fight back? Was it justice or revenge? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to share this story if you believe silence should never be the cost of survival.